You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Dr. Aysha Khoury, who was a member of the founding faculty at Kaiser Permanente School of Medicine, was suspended and then later fired from her job. She was asked to lead a conversation at the school in the wake of the death of George Floyd and, of course, the shooting in Wisconsin of Jacob Blake. Now, she said the conversation was authentic, emotional, and students were engaged, but she was suspended after someone complained about, quote, certain classroom activities that took place. She joins us right now. Dr. Khoury, glad to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
I'm trying to understand this. So they asked you to lead a conversation in the wake of these incidents, and you're the one who ends up getting suspended and fired?
That's how things roll at PWIs, right?
So what happened?
So classes started in July. You know, this is in the midst of the protests. We had just had Jacob Blake being shot. We had the Kenosha, Washington shootings. We had our own Anthony McLean here in Pasadena, blocks away from the school, being shot and killed by police. And students wanted to have a conversation about that. That week, we were also, from a medical school perspective, talking about bias and racism in medicine, talking about how Black people are undertreated when they're in emergency departments, talking about maternal death rates. We saw that with Serena Williams. And as the only Black American moderator who was a physician in my classroom, I had a very candid conversation about not only my experiences as a physician, but my experiences individually. And the conversation was very engaged by the students. And 9 hours later, I received a call saying that I was suspended.
Surely your reaction had to be, y'all got to be playing a prank on me. I'm being suspended for leading the conversation that you asked me to lead. Well, I mean, what the hell did they think the conversation was going to be about?
I wish I understood that better. It's a conversation I would definitely have again. And I think it's a conversation that the younger generation of trainees and students that we have coming up are ready for, and they're excited about. My students gave me incredible feedback about that session almost immediately. It's through one of my students that endorsed that my email had been suspended. He found me on LinkedIn to say that, hey, Dr. Khoury, I'm trying to reach out. I hope it's okay to reach out to you here. It was just shocking, and I was just numb for about 3 days.
So you get suspended. How long were you suspended before it all of a sudden leads to termination?
Ultimately, the decision was made not to renew my appointment. And so my appointment ended January 31st. But I went from having a promotion expected in an email to me from my chair June 10th. And then I get suspended from the class in August 28th. I don't work at the school for several months. And then suddenly I get a letter of non-renewal. And in that saying that, you know, I have poor work product and I have poor judgment and, you know, all of the things that they do to kind of denigrate your character and disparage you.
What has been the, well, first of all, did they ever fully explain to you why it wasn't being renewed? Did they actually say a student complained, a faculty member complained, a parent complained? They give any actual reason?
I never got a reason. I never got any understanding of the complaint from the class. I don't know who it came from. My students came out publicly for me on Twitter and sent several letters on my behalf to the leadership, saying that they wanted me to be reinstated. The 8 students of my class say that they are not the ones who complained. I did have a co-facilitator in the class. At the end of the day, though, I don't know who complained. And also, I hold leadership accountable. If we're going to have these conversations in medical schools, and these conversations are necessary, evidenced by all of the conversation you all have had on the show today, then schools have to understand that if someone is uncomfortable, it's the school's responsibility to walk them through that. You cannot ask Black folk to do this work and then retaliate against them.
I also saw on social media that there were some students, some Black students, who turned down acceptances into this medical school as a result of what happened to you.
Not only did some medical students withdraw their applications, students who had already been accepted, and mind you, that comes with $200,000 of free tuition, withdrew their acceptances from the institution.
Wow.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. But I think what we're seeing is that psychological safety is important, and students of color, especially Black students, deserve to feel psychologically safe in school. And if
questions from, I want to pull in my panel here. Dr. Greg Carr, I'll start with you. Faculty member to faculty. Your question for Dr. Khoury.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, Dr. Khoury, shocked, sis. Let me just ask you. I mean, I have so many questions, but I suppose I'll try to keep it. Is there no faculty handbook, or I mean, it seems like this is a new faculty that's being established. So I mean, who's the accrediting body for them? And I'm reading the suspension, as I'm sure you are, as a setup for further action that they took. So in that respect, is there not a process that they are beholden to at the risk of jeopardizing their accreditation?
So that's really interesting, because I did follow up with that accrediting body, and there is a handbook. The handbook is available online for anyone to read. The handbook was not followed in my case.
Okay,
plain and simple.
Good. So in other words, stay tuned maybe for the lawsuit. I hope. Thank you, Roland.
Is that a plan for you, Doc, to sue?
You know, what I'm learning, Roland, is that justice is very difficult and very expensive to find. So at this point, I can't say. I can't say.
Reese, your question for Dr. Khoury.
Dr. Khoury, yeah, I shared your story a couple months ago, I believe, on Twitter. So I'm happy to see you on Roland, raising awareness about this. What really struck me is, like you said, this is what they always do. They turn something that is supposed to be about, educating and enlightening people into a personal and professional attack against you. It's not just a matter of retaliating against you for the classroom session that happened, but actually trying to impugn your character and your professional ability. Have you found that that has been an issue in pursuing other opportunities, or has your speaking out been a hindrance in further opportunities? How does that retaliation and that write-up that they gave you, how does that impact your future prospects?
Yes, so I think for sure, I'm definitely getting mixed messages. I am getting some folks who feel like it's a bit too hot to touch, right, in terms of my joining other institutions. But my hope is that people will get to know my character because they get to see who I am through opportunities like this, through Twitter, and that I'll land at an institution that will appreciate my talents and skills and appreciate that I'm someone who will keep people accountable to health equity.
Erica Savage-Wilson, your question for Dr. Khoury.
Thank you, Roland. Yeah, Dr. Khoury, really appreciate being able to speak with you tonight. And thank you for being here. My question to you is, we were talking earlier about physicians, and there's only about the 5 to 7% of physicians, Black physicians, that are represented in your field. What has the support from your body of colleagues been like? And is that support enough to really raise more awareness? You know, Reese talked about, she retweeted your story out earlier, and now you're here on the show. But what do you think that it will take in terms of galvanizing to get more people engaged in what's happened to you and what is yet happening to you?
Yes. I mean, definitely we have to move from being performative. You saw that in medical institutions all across the country, everyone kneeling for their 8 minutes and 46 seconds. But at the end of the day, we need people to put action to their performative activities. For sure, I got incredible support online from a medical community in general. But what I've seen now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story coming out of Tulane with Dr. Dinar, and there has just been an incredible movement of support of people who are intolerant of Black women being removed from their academic positions. That is going to require not only support of physicians all across the country, but also patients standing up with a hashtag, "We need Black doctors." This is an incredible moment in history. Black physicians have a lot to offer. And imagine if we are only 3 to 5% of physicians in general, we're even less in academic medicine. And if we're going to turn out the kind of doctors who we want to see treat us, Black physicians have to be at the table.
Right.
Right.
Dr. Khoury, we certainly appreciate it. Actually, before I let you go, have other medical schools reach out to you?
One.
Okay.
One.
Wow.
Wow. We appreciate you telling us your story. Let us know how it goes in the future. Be glad to have you back on.
Will do. Thank you so much, Roland. Thank you so much, Cam.
All right. Thanks a bunch. All right, folks. Back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.